Hello, and welcome to the San Diego County Office of Education Added Authorization Program. This is your candidate orientation, and we're really glad that you were able to join us today. I'm Connie Campbell. I'm the coordinator in the Teacher Effectiveness and Preparation Unit of the County Office of Education in San Diego. And also with me is Jana Anderson. She's the project specialist. You can see us both here on the screen. The project specialist for the Added Authorization Program. Also with us, but not on the screen, is Nikki Bryant. You may have already met her. She is our program secretary, and she takes care of all of your registration and some programmatic things along the way, and you may have already been in good contact with her. So welcome. You will see a chat pod available to you, and what we ask is that you keep your microphone muted, and if you have any questions along the way, feel free to put them there in the chat pod, and we will stop every once in a while and try to get those answered for you. This meeting should take somewhere around 45 minutes, and we're going to just get going. So we're going to start a little bit of norming with anything that has to do with a virtual meeting. So really important is that you should be able to hear me, and you can actually see us as well, myself and Jana. But make sure your speakers are operating so that you can hear what's going on. Also, you need to stay muted and use the chat pod. If you unmute, we get a lot of feedback and then people can't hear very well. This meeting is being recorded. We do ask that you put other distractions aside. It's easy to get into the habit of multitasking, but at this point, we really would hope that your email and your phone and other technologies are put aside so that you can listen with the best opportunity to understand our program. So we do ask that you please type in the chat pod. I already put this in the chat pod, introducing yourself. So type your full name and the district that you work in, and then also which area of added authorization you are seeking. Thanks for doing that, and we'll greet you along the way. So while you are doing that, and I see that they're popping up already, we're going to welcome you. So this orientation is really important because it is the only time that we have synchronous time together to talk about the program. So we'll go over the course expectations and a good overview of what your experience will be. We will talk about the portfolio that you will craft along the way, and a little bit about our learning management system. We're using Canvas. And then time for Q&A. Here's just a quick look at some of our instructors, just so you know that there's some real people on the other end of all of this. You will get to know them much better as your course begins because they each do an introduction of themselves for you together with pictures, so you can put some of these things together. So let's start with the course, the expectations, and the overview itself. So here's some program requirements, and these are really important when you're taking an online class. So first of all, to be in the program itself is you need to have a valid special education credential from California. And as you registered, these things were already discussed. So if you had any special circumstances, you probably already worked them out with us. But if not, if you don't think you meet this criteria, please do get in touch with us. We'll give you our contact information at the very end. But you do need a valid special education credential. It can be preliminary or clear. You do need to have access to students in the disability area for which you are receiving the authorization. And we'll talk about the why behind that. You need to be practicing your techniques, and you will be making a video of yourself teaching in that area, so you need students for that. We do ask that you have strong technical skills, and this is just part of being in a fully online program. You need to be familiar with Google Drive. Any learning management system, it doesn't have to be Canvas in particular, but just having had experience in an online learning management system is really helpful. And Microsoft Word, Office, PowerPoint, all of those things. And if you don't feel like you have strong technical skills, you might give us a call. We can talk through that, or at least be a good researcher of how how-tos that could also do the trick. So another piece about being in an online course, in that there's some benefits, and then there's some things that you need to know. Of course, it's part of the benefits is that it's so flexible scheduling. You can do your work at the hours of the day that you prefer. It usually works out really well with full-time working people. Another great thing is that you can process your thoughts before adding to a discussion board or doing an assignment, other than the face-to-face right here and now. And then also, successful online learners should possess the following attributes. So I'm not going to read them all to you, but you see them there on the screen. And that's because you do need to be kind of a self-starter and be motivated to stay on target and on track. It's not like you're showing up once a week and have that deadline because someone's going to be asking you in person, hey, do you have this done? Let's do this and let's do that. So you need to be a good a self-starter, self-motivated, and willing to research the how-tos before asking questions. So we'll talk a little bit about that piece as well. Make sure you continue to put your questions in the chat pod, and we will answer them as we move along. So here are some responsibilities that you have as a candidate in this particular program. This is a 16-week course, and every week has some of these responsibilities in them. So we do need you to complete all assignments, quizzes, discussion boards, and your portfolio components within the given timelines. It is a week-by-week structure, and though you can do the work at any time of the day, each week has its own things that need to be completed within that week. If you're unable to do that and stay on top of things across the 16 weeks, this will be difficult for you to complete on time. So just know that even though you're not showing up each week to a class, these assignments must be turned in within the week that they are assigned. We do expect you to submit graduate level work. With regards to proper grammar, sometimes people get in the habit in discussion boards of just typing kind of like you're texting, and it's not like that. We need you to make graduate level work, full sentences with periods and capitals. Also, communicating with your instructor is really important. We are a real hands-on place, and so communicating with that instructor, certainly if something comes up, but even throughout the time, we've got this learning management system is a great way to just stay in touch and give your thoughts. You can message them privately or part of the group chat. And if you do have something that comes from your instructor to you in communication, we need you to respond within 24 hours because these weeks tick by, and we don't want anybody to get behind. That communication does need to happen through the learning management system. So you'll see once we get to that part, that there's a messaging device right in there. We prefer that you do that instead of through email. Of course, if you need to, you can add an email, but we prefer that all of your initial communication be right through the Canvas learning management system. We also hope you'll notify us as program managers immediately if something happens to your employment, if you don't have access to those students anymore, and then we'll just need to work through that together. So here's a look at the program itself. So you get a good sense of how it's structured. The first 7 weeks is particular to your area of authorization. So as you know, the areas that we offer are ASD, autism spectrum disorder, early childhood special education, orthopedic impairment, traumatic brain injury, and emotional disturbance. We're not offering deafblind this time, but we do as well. So those are good things for you to know, so you can tell your colleagues if they are in need next time. So those first 7 weeks are particular to one of those authorization areas, the one that you've chosen. Then the last 9 weeks have a series of core modules all on these very topics. So you'll have 2 weeks of assessment, 2 weeks about behavior, 3 weeks about collaboration and transition, and then 2 more weeks about specialized healthcare. So that means that those modules are a little bit more general in information, the way it's delivered, because we want you to take what you learned in the first 7 weeks and apply that specificity to your final 9 weeks. So that's what you can expect. Now, the other piece that's really important is that you'll be developing a portfolio alongside this work. So if an assignment is detailed within Canvas, the learning management system, you will gather the information in Canvas, but then you will actually do the assignment and turn it in through this portfolio. And we're going to talk about that portfolio more. And the portfolio needs to be completed in its entirety by the end of your last module. So you'll be ticking away at it little by little along the way, so it's not some great big deal at the end, but it does need to be completed by the end of the coursework. So these are dates that you can note and take down if you wish. We'll also be sharing this very PowerPoint with you when your course starts, so you can re-access these dates at that time as well. But this just gives you a sense of the dates for each of those, either the 7 weeks or the 2 and 3 week modules towards the end. It's good to note, however, that this teaching video that we talked about, you plan the teaching event, and that plan that you put in the portfolio is due, very beginning of November. And then you videotape yourself delivering the plan that you shared with us with a student or multiple students. And that video is due the 10th of November. Just want you to know those dates up front so you can start thinking about it early. And then again, the assignments are completed in the portfolio along the way. So we do have a good question in the chat pod right now, so I'll stop for a moment. The question is about the teaching video, how to get that, what device you need to use, and what other systems that might need to take place. You can use any device you want to. We have a lot of people record on their phones, and you will be loading that video right into Canvas. So there's not a different system that will be used. You can videotape on whatever you're comfortable with. It's nice to maybe have someone at your school site help you out with that, but you have until November to try to work that out. We also do recommend that you do a test video and practice uploading, practice how that happens in Canvas prior to November. So thank you for that question. That is a really good one. So as we navigate the weeks and modules in the course, this piece is really important. The weeks do open and close. So I alluded in the beginning to finishing the week's content on time, and this is one of those reasons. So you won't have access to the coming week's content until Sunday of that week. And as that week ends, those assignments will shut down. We do hope that you'll look at the modules tab in Canvas to see the entire course flow, but you need to do the weeks in order. So when we get to Canvas, we're going to talk more about that. The modules tab gives you all the visual of everything, all the topics and all the subtopics, but that can be overwhelming. So we like you to see that big picture, but then we encourage you to just go page by page in order, so that the assignments are not looked at out of order. So you have all the content first and then the assignment explanation. And there will be discussions and quizzes in Canvas as well that you'll do within Canvas, and then the assignments that are described to you in Canvas you'll be putting in your portfolio. It's really important to note that we have some due dates that don't necessarily follow your school and work calendar. It's 16 weeks, and you can get it done within that period of time. But you might find that there are some due dates that maybe you're out for Thanksgiving break. You'll still have due dates that week. Your instructor will interact with you through Canvas, just like we asked you to interact with them through Canvas. Here's some things that your instructor will do with you. They do complete an observation and provide you feedback. That observation is through the video that you submit, and you will get written feedback and have some reflective conversations with your instructor through the discussion board and the messaging system within Canvas. That instructor definitely supports your portfolio work. We'll check in with you from time to time. We'll respond to some discussion posts. So that person really is very hands-on. They are always available to answer your questions about content or process or any of those things. And we'll continue to connect with you about your progress throughout the week, the progress on your portfolio for sure. And all of that is happening through Canvas. So let's talk about that portfolio. I'm not seeing any more questions in the pod, so I will keep going. Although this picture shows a material portfolio, yours will be done in Google Docs. So let's take a look at the components. You will complete this in Google Docs. We have the template for you, and we will share with you the template of the portfolio in Google Docs. And you'll have very specific instructions in that module, which is the very beginning of the course, about how to make a copy of that portfolio, save it to your own computer, and then share your copy back with your instructor. So all of those things will be spelled out for you in the course. And here's just a quick look up ahead. I think some people really like to see the big picture first, and here are those components in the portfolio. You will do an introduction of yourself. Each of these added authorizations have very specific standards by the Commission on Teacher Credentialing of what you need to know to get this authorization. So we call this the standards legend, and you're going to little by little pop in there how it is that you are meeting the standards of the authorization you seek. You will have an observation experience along the way where you need to get out of your own setting and do some observing of other children with the same, in the same authorization area. Then there's that action plan and video that I've already talked a little bit about. There'll be a behavior and assessment assignment that's explained in Canvas, a collaboration transition assignment explained to you in Canvas, and then a specialized healthcare assignment, and all captured in this portfolio. So now, those pieces little by little. This introduction of yourself, you actually complete one of those at the very beginning of the course within Canvas so that you can get to know your community. You'll talk about your job assignment, your work experience, and it is the way that we build online learning community, and then you're just going to copy that and put it in your portfolio. So that one will be easily captured. The next component is that standards legend. So you will identify your own examples of practice related to each of the standards, and you're just going to fill that in. It's only a minimum of 2 bullet points for the overall standard, and you'll get a good look at it when you get to see the actual portfolio. The next piece is your observation experience, where I said that you need to get out of your own classroom and observe practice somewhere else in the authorization you are seeking. There's several choices. Hopefully we've made enough choices that work for you. Of course, if for some reason you don't feel like you have access to any other students in that same authorization area, we will work that out together. And that's where some communication, a frequent communication with your instructor and with this program is beneficial, because we have lots of ideas. The next component is the actual plan of your teaching experience that you're going to videotape of yourself. So you'll create that action plan based on all the things you've learned. You're going to have to put some practice into motion so that it can be observed on video. You're going to write your pre-video notes, which just means, like, what am I focusing on? What are the strategies I've been learning about that I want to try and implement? And what should my instructor look for? Then you'll record yourself, and you'll watch your own video first. And you're going to reflect on your video before you send it off to your instructor. So you're going to look at your own video and say, so what are my own post-observation reflections before I send that off? And then your instructor will be able to see it and give their own reflections as well. So that's a quick look at what that will look like. We do, again, remind you to start planning early in the course. Practice uploading a video, practice taking a video, so that when that assignment comes around, you are completely prepared. Then components 5, 6, and 7 are assignments specific to the core modules and those topics that we talked about: behavior, assessment, collaboration, transition, and specialized healthcare, and they will be fully explained to you in the Canvas. So there is a question in the chat pod, and that is about the concern of not having students in your authorization besides the one that are in your own classroom. And I assure you that if you toss that out right in the beginning with your instructor, that that's a concern of yours, that it will get, we will get some answers to you about that. So we do not want you to fret. We want you to know that it's coming and start thinking about it. Start thinking about some ways that you might be able to capture that. And let us know early if that's concerning you so that we can work with you. Okay, so the learning management system, I don't know how many of you have been already introduced to Canvas or use it currently. It's helpful if you have. It's okay if you haven't. Oh, I see some people in the chat pod saying yes, that you already are familiar with Canvas, which is really great. I'm going to show you a few screenshots of what you will see when you get in there. So here is the very first thing you will see when you log in. If you're not sure even what a learning management system is, it's just a venue that houses your courses. So even though this is called your dashboard and it's what you will see when you first log into Canvas, you will just have one course there. Perhaps it's autism spectrum disorder. I have several in mind, but you will only have one. Perhaps it's early childhood special education, whatever it is. And then all you do is click on your one course and you get started. It takes you right to the home page. So this learning management system has all the course that you'll click on has all the content, the assignments, the discussion boards, houses all your grades. It is and your primary communication source. So if you just take a look at these buttons here on the left of your menu, that's how you're going to be navigating. And again, this very first page is called your dashboard. Let's look at another view. If you are to click on this very top button, account, this is what you'll see. And this is a really important one because the very first thing we ask you to do is to confirm your email address and set up notifications right inside Canvas. Very important because this is how you'll be communicating. We want you to receive all the messages you should be receiving from your instructor, from the management system itself. And you must do these steps in order to get the messages you want. So you will click on account, then you will go here to notifications, and I'll show you what you'll see. Once you click on notifications, as it shows you right here, you get to choose how often you get messages. Please don't choose this one. Do not send me anything. It's really important that you get the messages that you want. So you can get weekly messages, send weekly summary, says right here. You can get things daily, or you can get things that say notify me right away. So you'll get in there and play with this. Due dates. Do you want to know every day if there's a due date coming? Then you would click the one that says notify me right away, signaled by a check mark, and you would click this check mark. And if that was chosen, that check mark would be green. This example is choosing to get weekly summary of due dates. So you can see this icon, it's a little calendar. It means weekly summary. That's what this person chose. Grading policies. How often do you want to see what your grades are? How often do you want to see any changes in course content? You'll go down this list and you'll decide how often you want those things. When it comes to communicating, receiving either announcements from your instructor or one-on-one communication, you do need to click daily on that. So let's go back to this home screen, and now we're going to show some navigation. So I showed you this blue bar before. Once you get in the course on the home page, which is where we are right now, you can see that that's highlighted in blue. Then you have all these other navigation buttons. And we want you to navigate this course using the next button. So once you get on the page itself, and it'll say start here. Once you get into the course with start here, there's a button on the right-hand side that says next page, next page, next page. And that's how the very, very best way to navigate through this course, because then you're getting the content in the order that it was designed. The discussion boards come up in the order it was designed. The assignments come up as it was designed. But of course, you can see here, you could go right to those things as well on this side. But we ask you not to, because there won't be any context for the assignments or the discussions that are there. So there is a good reason for these buttons, however. This is telling you here that the modules tab or the links that you'll find on the home page really give you a bigger context and a bigger picture. So if you clicked on modules tab right here, you will see the entire setup of what the large topics are. Every subpage, every topic that's ever introduced will be there for you. And just like on the home page, did I give a click on the home page? No. On the home page, there will be a link to the beginning of every week. So let's say we're in week 8 and you're done with week 8 and you just want to get to week 9, you just go back to the home page and there will, in order, there will be a link to week 9. And that's how you get started on week 9, by the links on the home page. So as you are navigating Canvas, and if you're unsure how to do something, you're not sure how to post on the discussion board, you want to look at your grades and you're not sure how, I really do hope that you'll take a look here at the help button. There are videos explaining how to do things, all kinds of explanations. There's a search engine that you can just put your question right in there, and we have found it very, very helpful. Of course, after doing that research, if you get stuck, we've actually found that Google is helping. This Canvas is new to us as well. We're learning quickly. We've been learning along the way. But we have found that sometimes just Googling our question is really, really helpful. So don't ever hesitate to just put your question right in Google as well. But we do ask that you do some research to try to be a self-helper before you reach out. But we're going to give you our emails so that we can always be right here for you as you need us. So let's see how we're doing here. How will you get access to your course? So you will receive an email inviting you to your course between now and Sunday, September 1st. Even if you get the email prior to Sunday, the course will not actually open until Sunday. So there's a lot of you. So we'll be sending this out little by little each day, and then be ready to actually get started on Sunday. If you have time to just poke in there, get in there and poke around. Because we want you to create your account right away so that you're ready to plug in on that very first day of class, which is Monday. I realize Monday's a holiday. Our Monday start date in the fall has never fallen on a holiday before, so it does happen to be a holiday. I would take a peek around and see what's due that week so that you're prepared. I do hope that you will review the introductory pages in order, because you'll notice that you do have an introduction of yourself due on Monday, September 2nd. If we don't need a bunch of emails about those of you who will be out of town on Monday or unavailable on Monday, all we can say about that, since it's a holiday, is to get that introduction done as soon as you can. So here's one more little piece about communication. Just a reminder, you communicate with your instructors via the Canvas inbox. It's one of those tabs that you will see on the left of the screen when you get into Canvas. If there's anything urgent, though, or you have a concern, please do use your instructor's email. They will give it to you within the course. If it's really urgent, I believe that they will be providing their phone numbers. And if you need to communicate with ourselves, with myself, with Jenna, with Nikki, so as program things, administrative types of things, or other concerns, this is the email to use. It's aase@sdcoe.net. And the reason to use that email instead of any of our personal emails is because we all three look at that, and your question will be answered much more quickly with this inbox. So it's aase@sdcoe.net. We are just about finished here. We do want to encourage you over these 16 weeks to stay communicative. It's always brings the best results when you stay communicative, you stay plugged in, keep at it. Do make it a priority. I hope that you've picked the fall, the school year, because it's a good time for you. You need to devote some hours every week to these assignments. And this is your career, and you're getting better at something, you're learning some new things, and you're getting something added to your teaching credential, and it's important. So we do hope that you will make it a priority. And we love this stuff, so continue to communicate with us and let us know how we can be the most helpful. So we thank you so much for your attendance. This orientation and the PowerPoint will be available to you in your Canvas course, so you can go back and look at it again because this is being recorded. And any questions you might have, please do use our inbox at aase@sdcoe.net. And I'll stick around for a little while and keep my eye on the chat pod for a few minutes. If you're satisfied and you're doing fine, you can log off. Otherwise, if you have a few questions, we can answer them now.